Hi, Jose. Hi, Mango. Hi, Animatter. Hi, hi, hi. Mm. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Doing good, doing good. I hope so. Mm. I've been so excited to get back into this. Get out of here! You don't have to follow me into the stream to talk about it. Dylan's just showing off his like good Uma Musume pulls, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my. The fact that you followed me onto the stream to be like, haha, get fucked. Goddamn. Goddamn. But real talk, real talk. I'm super excited to get back into book club. It feels like it's been way too long. It probably has been a little long. Yeah. I did get the new girl. I did. I did get Koan-chan, but I didn't get Kida-san Black. That's... Saphyre coping. Let's go. Bruh. I was trying to share the good news, and you got all snippy with me. I'm sorry. Just, you know how much I was suffering. Just the fact that you were still like, haha, kid, look what I got. But yeah, no. Good news, I did get the new girl, the girl I've been waiting for. I did get Koan-chan. I did get her to the finals. I won the finals. I'm planning on making a video about me pulling for her and doing some of her stuff. So look forward to that. Hopefully I get that done soon. So look forward to that. I didn't get Kita-san, so you can calm down. Alright, fair enough. I guess we both didn't get Kita-san then. But I know for a fact you have Super Creek or Fine Motion. You have one of those two, if not both, so... Either. But I got Satono Diamond. Oh, that's good. Satono Diamond's cool. Both, yeah. See? That's that shit I'm talking about. Anyway, we're here for book club. We're gonna get into it. Okay, so I remembered what happened last time. Actually, I was thinking about it. So we were gonna go hang out with Satoshi. It was after the Watanagashi. The aunt is dead. The cops are pretty sure it's Satoshi, so when they cornered him, they're like, what's your alibi? Mion didn't say he had an alibi. And then we revealed to Satoshi and the cops that we were actually Shion, and we are Shion. And we are Mion's, twin sister. God damn. And we were all like, yeah, now Satoshi has an alibi. He was with me. And Satoshi's like, oh my god, you're Shion? That explains some shit. So that's where we left off, is that the cops were taking them both away to cross-examine the alibis of the two. Shion's trying to cover for Satoshi, because we're all pretty sure Satoshi killed the aunt, right? Yeah. We're all pretty sure. The cops are really sure. So. Let's get in there, yeah? The cops were smart enough to separate us during the questioning. Oishi didn't come talk to me. His aim was Satoshi-kun and nobody else. I got a young cop who just talked about ordinary things. He must have been trying to ease me into the interrogation. When I realized that, the clumsy way he spoke began to frustrate me. Is Satoshi-kun okay? I didn't think Oishi would really bought my testimony. He must have been trying to get Satoshi-kun to confess in spite of that. All I could do was pray that he'd keep quiet. The phone on the desk rang, and the cop picked it up. This is Kumagai? What? Alright. Understood. Right away. He hung up and told me somebody had come to retrieve me. Looked like Satoshi-kun had to stay. Were they going to continue the interrogation just because he had nobody to pick him up? Although, maybe I should have been worrying more about myself. The Hague had probably heard about me now, and since I revealed my real identity to police, I couldn't hide any longer. I was going to receive some sort of punishment. I had no idea what she'd end up doing to me. The degree of punishment for a traitor is always severe in the world of the Sonozakis. The punishment must be carried out. If it's to protect the family's reputation, it's carried out no matter what. Maybe I should kiss my pinky finger while I can. Oh hi Risu, welcome. I asked the young cop just in case. Hey, did you know that in America, if a condemned criminal gets arrested in a state which has banned capital punishment, they refuse to surrender him to the state prosecuting him if the state hasn't banned it? Huh? Maybe it was difficult for him to understand. He just looked puzzled. A glossy black car was waiting for me in front of the police station. A few men from my dad's office bowed to me. It's been a long time, Shion-san. Where's Kasai? Kasai had been helping me ever since my escape from the school. They wouldn't allow him to walk free. How's Sis doing? Does she have something to say about this? We were only told to bring you to the main house. Please ask her when you get there. After saying that, he escorted me into the car. A man sat on either side of me. Obviously, they didn't want me to try and escape. Thinking of Satoshi-kun, I looked back at the police station. Hold on tight, Satoshi-kun. I'll grin and bear it, too. The car started off roughly. It was never a good occasion when I went to his house, except when Mion and I were really small, oblivious of what the Sonozaki name really meant for us. I'd been here only when I had to attend boring family councils. The car parked behind the house. Traders weren't allowed in through the main gate. Hold on, I just realized how quiet this was for you guys, probably. Let me turn that up a bit. I got out of the car. It looked like Sis would be the only person to receive me. I almost spoke to her casually, but her cold gaze froze me before I could. It's been a while, Shion. I never expected to see you here other than on New Year's. It gave me chills to hear her greet me in that cold manner. It's a pleasure to see you again, Mion-sama. I feel overjoyed to have the chance to see you, other than on New Year's. I responded, trying to sound likewise. Our leader is deeply upset. I wonder how you'll explain yourself. I have nothing to explain. I had no excuse. I'd escaped from the school solely because I couldn't stand it there. That was all. Shion, come this way. Everyone's waiting for you. Mion escorted me, and the others followed. We went into the garden, not into the house. As we passed through the huge yard into the woods, I realized where she was taking me. When we were little, we were told never to go near these woods. I had a vague idea of what was in the back of them. I had heard there was a hidden entrance to the underground torture room, where they used to punish the enemies of the family. The more hideous the rumors I heard about the family, the more credible these rumors seemed. Well, I wasn't completely certain about any of that. I never expected to see the torture room for myself. We came to the concave clearing in the middle of the woods. I saw a metal door at the bottom of it. The door reminded me of a bomb shelter. So, this is the underground torture room, huh? I was surprised to hear my own voice. My voice was trembling. It made me realize that I was more scared than I thought. Nobody answered my question. The very air felt tense. According to the family rules, one of the twins must be eliminated. Was I finally going to be eliminated? I realized I had been underestimating my punishment. I hadn't been aware of the real terror until now. I just thought I was. Beyond that steel door, the air had an intimidating smell. This was really happening to me. I shouldn't allow myself to give in to fear. I felt like saying something rude, but my lips were dry, and my fingers were fidgeting. I was escorted through the narrow hallway and down a few steps of stairs. There, I saw another huge steel door. So this is the place. It was spacious and an utterly odd-looking room. The room had two sections and looked completely different. One side looked like a lounge. I saw several high-ranking members of the family council sitting on the cushions here, looking expressionless. The other half was tiled, as if in a large public bath. That was already puzzling enough. And there were those things. To be honest, they had captured my attention from the moment I arrived. I noticed them even before I saw the lounge and the tiled space. I just didn't want to accept that they existed. I couldn't stand straight. I almost dropped to my knees, but I couldn't. 2 young men had been holding me by the arm since I got here. There were oddly shaped things hanging from the wall. I was just refusing to recognize what they were. I knew exactly what they were called. I see. I see. I understood that. Those eerily shaped objects were torture devices from hell. Damned fool! How dare you return? The hag, sitting at the front of the lounge, intimidated me with a horrid voice. She kept cursing me for a little while, but she was just so incensed that I could barely tell what she was saying. I knew that she was trying to say, though. The hag was willing to forgive my escape from the school, but once I revealed my identity to police, she had to step in. Since I had disobeyed a family rule, she, as the leader, was forced to punish me. Moreover, there was one thing that bothered her more than anything else. The fact that I covered for Satoshi-kun. The Hojo family had been seen as traitors to the village ever since the dam conflict. Satoshi-kun is still considered one of them. She couldn't accept that I was connected to him. To me, this was a bit unexpected. I'd escaped from a school the hag had put me in. All the while, I believed that what she was upset about. But in fact, she said that she was the most uncomfortable with my connection with Satoshi-kun. I couldn't believe it. Of course I knew that Satoshi-kun's family was persecuted for their betrayal, but I didn't think Satoshi-kun was also burdened with this responsibility. He has nothing to do with that. I understand that his parents were ostracized, but he shouldn't be— Shut the hell up! The hag interrupted me with a shout, which made me cower in fear. She continued slandering the Hojos, and said that Satoshi-kun was a cursed child. I started to feel pissed off. What did he do to deserve this? What was he being blamed for? It was too late when I realized I'd said that out loud. The hag looked furious. I'd obviously upset her. I decided to repeat myself, to make it very clear how I felt. What are you saying, you old hag? Everything you've spouted is nonsense. Huh? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Oh, shut the fuck up and let me finish. I shouted loudly to silence the hag. What the fuck do you know about Satoshi-kun? How could you talk about him like he's some pest when you don't know anything about him? I know how sweet he is. You don't like him because he's Hojo? How fucking stupid is that? Is even your brain archaic or what? You hate the fact that a Sonozaki is with a Hojo that much? That's not just stupid, that's beyond stupid. Boy, I never expected to feel like Juliet. My voice became hoarse from shouting. My face was messy with tears. Even so, I didn't feel like putting a stop to my emotional explosion. I was all too aware that I was doing this just to overwhelm my fear. The hag was glaring at me and breathing heavily. I glared back at her as fiercely as I could. Eventually, I realized that her sticking point was my relationship with Satoshi-kun. She wasn't only upset that I had mere connection with him. I see. Looks like Mion mentioned that too. It was as though Mion was wearing a mask. She didn't bulge under the perching glare. That was what the hag was really unhappy about. The fact that I was in love with Satoshi-kun. I don't give a shit about this family background or mine. Yeah, I'll admit, I'm in love with him. I love Satoshi Hojo-kun. I love him so much. Is that so wrong? Do I need a reason to love somebody? I could see the relatives shaking their heads in turmoil. Among them, I saw my mom. She must have been trying to protect me. But even she wouldn't look at me. Instead, she looked silently at the floor. Did you guys in the back hear me? Am I wrong? You'd know how sweet Satoshi-kun is in an instant if you even bothered to get to know him. How can you put him down without... Mion held out a hand to silence me. Then, she slowly walked in my direction. That's enough, Shion. I understand what you wanted to say. Mion put her head close to mine and whispered. Shion, I know how you feel, but you can't go back after coming this far. You have to pay for what you did. What did I do? Why me? This is ridiculous! Shion. Mion's face turned cold again, and she calmly told me, You're probably right, but this is Hinamizawa, and we are the Sonozakis, as I'm sure you understand. We are the leaders of the three families, and you are the twin sister of the successor, Mion Sonozaki. Yet, I interrupted her. We haven't agreed on that matter ever since I came back. You're full of this reputation shit. Hinamizawa? The Sonozakis? So what? I don't give a fuck about... Listen! Mion interrupted me, just like I did to her. How many people did you depend on at the start of your new life in Okinomiya? Chills shot through my spine. Kasai-san is in that cell in the back. Why Kasai? I knew why, of course. The moment I got caught, those who helped me were destined to meet the same fate. We were all subject to the punishment of betrayal. Maybe my punishment would be lighter than what they'd be going through. Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro must have been treated much worse than this. Everybody who helped me was falling victim. I know that you were prepared for punishment, but have you ever thought of the consequences that Kasai-san and Uncle Yoshiro will face? My head rapidly cooled down. My aggression was all used up. I should be able to bear whatever punishment they'd bring to me. But I resented the fact that I'd be putting the people who supported me at risk. Shion. Apologize to Granny. If you do, the others won't have to suffer. Alright? But Mion, did I really do something wrong? Was any of what I did bad? The moment Mion learned that I wasn't willing to apologize, her expression turned cold again. She turned her back to me and returned to the lounge. I talked back to the hag in a really harsh manner. I told her that I didn't do anything wrong, yet I had involved many people to whom I owed so much. It went without saying, this was my responsibility. I was the sole person to blame, and no fault lay with them. Yes, Kasai and Yoshiro-san were blameless, just as Satoshi-kun was. But then, as if she'd read my mind, Mion turned around and gave me a slight nod. It was possible that something was going to happen to Satoshi-kun. On top of Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro. Wait, sis! That can't happen. Satoshi-kun, I mean, nobody else should be punished. Please forgive them. What is it, Shion? Tears rolled down my cheeks. I no longer cared about my pride. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. I should have said what the hag wanted to hear. Yet she still looked unsatisfied. Maybe that wasn't too surprising. I had just denounced her so badly in front of the relatives. She wouldn't forgive me so easily. Just then, Mion spoke as the successor. So, Shion, how do you propose to pay for this? Pay? What do you want me to do? Nothing could be scarier than being told to pay up while standing next to a horrid-looking torture device. I was completely terrified. I couldn't move from trembling. Mion saw that and whispered to our grandmother. The hag nodded. Mion summoned some young minions and gave them an order. They removed one of the torture devices hanging from the wall, and set a table in front of me and put the device on top. What is this? It's a tool for removing fingernails. Do you know how to use it? No way. I shook as I stared at the tool. It looked like a giant nail clipper. You probably put that part that looks like a beak between your fingers and fingernail. It pulls them apart if you squeeze the handle. The chills ran up and down my spine when I imagined it. Each fingernail represents one of your responsibilities. Shion Sonozaki. No matter which ones you choose, you must remove 3 nails yourself. 3? 1 for Kasai, 1 for Uncle Yoshiro, and the last for Satoshi-kun. It's a very reasonable number. Will you really not punish the others? Promise me. Please let them go if I do this. This is a punishment, not a negotiation. If you don't like the procedure, I'll do it. Just give me a second, I'm doing it. I put the device to my little finger while shaking badly. If my fingernail were shorter, it would have been a lot harder. The metal beak captured the little finger beautifully. The subordinates then stabilized my left hand with a different restraining tool. That seemed reasonable, because my finger would slip out if it wasn't restrained like that. As the subordinates buckled up the leather straps, I realized that this was really happening, and there was no escape. Somewhere in my mind, I'd been thinking that they might forgive me after this gesture alone. I shouldn't have been so naive. The emotions I'd been holding back appeared in the form of tears and kept rolling down my cheeks. It was like my feelings were being squeezed out into the very last drip. Something even more horrifying followed this. It was the silence that awaited my next action. So, what should I do now? One of the subordinates pointed to the handle and told me to either squeeze or hit it. He recommended the latter because it would be easier. It would be quick. Nobody said anything after that. There was nothing to hear but the sound of my sweat dripping onto the floor. The onlookers were staring at me silently, waiting for me to execute my punishment. Both the hag and Mion. They were also anticipating it. I could refuse, but that meant I wouldn't be paying up. This punishment exists to offer payment in exchange for the safety of those who help me. If I refused, they would suffer. I started breathing heavily. I knew that if I did this, the others would go free. This was, if you thought about it, quite a good deal. If it weren't me, it wouldn't be just 3 fingernails. If it were Kasai, he'd have to sacrifice his little finger or something even worse. I knew that. It was my selfish desire to get away from that school. Why did Kasai have to suffer because of that? I knew that. Why did Uncle Yoshiro have to suffer just because he provided me a job? I knew that the hag and the other relatives still hated the Hojos. So I didn't know what they'd do to Satoshi-kun if I didn't do this. Would they bring Satoshi-kun here and tell him to do the same? Would they tell him to remove his fingernails in exchange for forgiving me? He'd do it. He'd sacrifice himself with no hesitation in order to save others. My sweat dripping onto the table through my nose. I'd do it. Yes. It was only 3 fingernails. It might hurt a lot, but I wouldn't die. The fingernails would grow back. It wouldn't even leave a huge scar. I shouldn't be so afraid. The punishment was minimal because it was me. If I refused to do this, the others would be punished much more severely. I couldn't let that happen to Kasai, Uncle Yashiro, or to Satoshi-kun. I was the only one who should be punished. So I just needed to bear the pain. Ah! I wasn't just breathing heavy anymore. I was also moaning faintly, ready to scream at any moment. That's right, just make it quick. This wasn't torture, so I didn't have to prolong the moment of pain. I should do it one swift blow. That way my pain and fear would be minimized. I raised my right arm. Quickly, quickly. The pain would be lessened if I did it in one blow. It'd be much more painful if I messed up. I held my breath. I felt as if my body was frozen. I was choking. The chills crept up my spine. Don't be afraid, Shion. Fingernails are just a tiny fraction of the whole body. Just 1 square centimeter. I could do this. I could bear it. Ah! I smacked my right hand on the handle of the device. I sensed the noise through my body instead of through my ears. At the same time, I felt the pain I'd never experienced before. The moment later, the pain pulsated in my heartbeat. I clenched my teeth. I felt like my teeth were cracking. I tightly shut my eyes until my eyeballs got squeezed up. The pain just wouldn't fade. Rather, it swelled with my blood pressure. It felt as though I was bloating like a balloon. Timidly, I opened my eyes. I found that my little finger wasn't really drenched in blood. It was bleeding, but not much. Certainly not enough to explain how much it hurt. My fingernail was open, just like the hood of a car. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was overwhelming. It occurred to me that I'd only done one of the 3. Did I have to repeat this 2 more times? Did I have to remove the nails from my ring and middle finger as well? I looked up at the hag and Mion begging for mercy, but they were just silently staring at me, as if the show had only just begun. I saw no hint of mercy in their eyes. They wouldn't be changing their minds. Since they said 3, it had to be 3. They wouldn't forgive me until I removed 2 more nails. Mion, look, isn't this enough? It really hurts, you know that? You see that in my eyes, don't you? It really hurts. Mion answered, still wearing a cold look. You can't keep going, Shion? She didn't mean that it was sufficient. What she meant was that the others would have to take the remaining punishment if I didn't. I knew that. I really did know. I'll do it. This is easy. you sadist. This doesn't scare me, and it doesn't hurt. I quickly moved the metal peak to the next set of my ring finger. I smacked it with no hesitation. Instead of making it quick, maybe I was just rushing out of fear. I'd messed up. The torture tool had only clipped just the tip of my nail. The pain, however, was equal. I couldn't believe I only chipped it. Did I have to do it again? Did I have to continue removing the nail from my ring finger? That much pain? Again? Again? Shion? No! I don't want to do it. I couldn't bear it anymore. I started crying shamelessly. I can't take it anymore. It's too painful. Forgive me, please. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They didn't seem to hear my voice. It felt as though there was an invisible barrier between us. They showed no mercy. They were just here to witness the ritual. So rather than sympathetic, they looked amazed by my screw-up. Mion walked up to me and whispered to my crying face, Shion, there's just a bit more to go. Hang in there. No, I can't do it. It hurts. It really hurts. It really does. Mion shook her head, then signaled the subordinates. They came from behind me. They covered my head with something like a knit cap. I was blindfolded. One of them pinned me in the Nelson hold, restricting my movement. No, stop! No! I couldn't overpower the guy behind me. Then I felt something strange on my left hand. The other guy was doing something with the torture tool. He put the metal beak between my ring finger and its fingernail. No! Mom, help me, Mom! My left hand was fixed with restraints, so I couldn't put up much more protest. But even that left hand was pressed down by his rough palms until it hurt, robbing it of freedom even to tremble. They had no hesitation. It was made very clear to me how merciless people could be. Robbed of my vision, all I could do was clench my teeth against the pain assailing me. If there was anything I was thankful for, it was that he was well practiced, and he had ripped off both my fingernails cleanly. Pain and screaming might induce narcotic chemicals in the brain. While screaming, I started losing consciousness. How are we feeling? Holy shit. I need a sip of water. Hold on. I'm actually feeling a little nauseous. Jesus Christ. Oh boy, the series mascot. Yes, the nail ripping scene is one of the really famous ones. Yep. Mion said no mercy. She really did. It's good shit. That's good shit, boy. Alright. I woke up. A great start for my day. Oofta. My memories were missing. I couldn't remember how I got back to my room. I held my head with both hands. My left hand was bandaged. The fingers that had their nails removed had swollen like hot dogs. I'd paid with those 3 fingernails for what I did. The hag had said something after the punishment, but I didn't remember any of it. I was taken to the hospital in Okonomiya. Props to the voice acting. Oh, thank you! I try really hard. That's my favorite part, is like trying to like voice act, add a little spice to the reading, you know? The car shook on the way, adding extra pain on top of what I already felt. You know, a child ripping out their own fingernails was not on my list of things I expected to hear, but it's Higurashi, so I guess I'm not surprised. Truth. Oh boy. Oh, Mango. Oh, Mango. I can't wait. Somebody gave me some aspirin. They worked just like they said on TV, but they didn't last more than 10 minutes. I swallowed the pills without water. I just realized what song was playing. Oh my god. While I was spacing out in the waiting lounge, Kasai showed up. He probably came to check if I was alright. I obviously wasn't. He must have understood that from the bandaged left arm dangling from my shoulder. You mean there's more? The nail ripping scene isn't the only one that is known. Yeah, yippee! Kasai, on the other hand, looked just fine. At least on the outside. I was relieved that my sacrifice had meant something. Kasai didn't say anything. I couldn't tell if he wanted to tell me something or not, because he just looked so emotionless. Kasai? Yeah. He paused shortly after answering. I could tell he was upset. I didn't regret revealing my true identity in order to protect Satoshi-kun. But I hadn't wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I had been contradicting myself. Do you know how Uncle Yoshiro is doing? No. I'm sure he's alright. Because he's strong. Even so, you should apologize to him. Okay. I wanted to ask him about Satoshi-kun too. I wondered if he was captured or harassed by the Sonozaki family because of me. But I was hesitant to ask Kasai. After all, I had chosen Satoshi-kun over them. Was Satoshi-kun alright? I hoped he wouldn't get caught or incarcerated somewhere. I paid the hospital bill and Kasai gave me a ride home. I finally realized that somebody was knocking on my door. Shion-san. It's not healthy to sleep so much. It was Kasai. He put some side dishes on the table. We started nibbling at them. How do you feel? Depressed? Have you been resting? Have you been eating? I've been eating the stuff that was left in the fridge. Otherwise, I'd been either sleeping or staring at the ceiling. It's been 3 days. I'd just been lying down since then. I woke up every now and then in my shallow sleep, but I didn't feel like getting up or thinking. I felt like I'd just been floating the whole time. My appetite was gone, but it came back with the smell of food that Kasai had brought. I wasn't able to think of anything to talk to Kasai about, so I just ate silently. I had a call from Mion-san yesterday. She said she was calling a few times but never got through. That moment I heard Mion's name, I felt my wounds throb. But I didn't stop Kasai, who continued. Because you paid up, the family decided to close the matter. You'll officially withdraw from St. Lucia's and transfer to a school here in Okinomiya. They're finally acknowledging my right to make my own decisions, huh? Indeed. They said you could live as yourself now, under a few conditions. You will stay away from Hinamizawa. You won't pretend to be Mion Sonozaki. You won't show up in public places, so on. This means, in exchange for acknowledging me, they don't want me to hang around. That's correct. Of course, it's only temporary, until things cool down. There is no set duration, but I think you should stay inconspicuous at least until the end of the year. It'd be good enough just to live in Okinomiya quietly, the way it was before. Kasai put on a sad smile. I smiled back at him likewise. Before the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know. How's Satoshi-kun doing? I wish that Kasai would assure me of his safety right away, but he didn't answer like that. Kasai? Is he alright? Shion-san. Kasai put down his chopsticks. The family wants you to forget about him. What? Shion-san. I don't want to get into an argument with you, so I won't get into the details. I'm only relaying to you what the family wants. What are you talking about? What details, Kasai? Kasai pretended as though he didn't hear me and started eating again. I'd never seen him so stubborn like this. The Sonozaki family had been using the Hojo family as a scapegoat. They must have concluded that Sonozaki shouldn't be in love with a Hojo. I didn't like that. Satoko is a friend of Mion's at school. Would it be okay for Satoshi-kun and I to have the same gender? Anyway, if I did do something conspicuous again, they might do something to him for real. Just like they forced me to remove my own fingernails. The Sonozaki family wouldn't hesitate. They'd torture him if need be. Maybe, if I really loved him, I should stay away. Satoshi-kun wouldn't show up in Okinomiya unless he rejoins the Hinamizawa fighters. I'd have to pretend to be Mion if I wanted to go to Hinamizawa, but I didn't think she'd cooperate with me. Even if she did, it'd be some time down the road. Even if they told me not to see him, I'd already had no means of doing it again. Oh, wait. Mion gave me his number a little while ago. I could call him, and maybe ask him to meet me, secretly. But if I got caught again, they wouldn't cut me any slack. Should I risk it? What the hell did I even want from Satoshi-kun? Kasai, can I be alone for a moment? Kasai started putting away his food in a rush, assuming that I wanted him to leave. Oh no, that's not what I meant. Take your time and finish your food. I just want to take a walk. You can't lock this place up if I don't step out with you. Yosai quickly put away his meal and followed me out. Just to be clear, I'm not going to see Satoshi-kun, alright? I see. I turned around and started walking. My destination was rather pathetic. It was the toy store that sold that giant teddy bear. I couldn't deny that I was somewhat expecting Satoshi-kun to pass by there. I couldn't stop myself from looking at the faces of the passerby who resembled him. I looked into the store's window. The teddy bear was gone. Congrats, Satoshi-kun. Looks like you were able to buy it. His evil aunt had died, and his wicked uncle was living with a mistress. Satoshi-kun succeeded in fulfilling his duty as a big brother by buying his little sister that huge teddy bear. There was nobody left to hurt him. He was free from those tiresome efforts. He was completely free from pain. Over time, he'd retrieve his smile, and he'd go back to being the Satoshi-kun that I love. But I wouldn't be there with him. I heard a car honking. I didn't think it was honking at me at first, but it was so persistent that I had to look up. The person waving at me from the car was Irie. He was waving at me to carefree, oblivious to my feelings. Sonozaki-san! Long time no see! Oh, are you meeting up with Hojo-san? No, I'm not. I know he looks in that store's windows all the time, so I just assumed you were expecting him here or something. No, I'm just passing by. It looks like he was able to buy that teddy bear. Irie seemed to know about the teddy bear as well. He smiled upon seeing its empty display space. Yesterday's Satoko-chan's birthday. He must have celebrated it with that bear. He doesn't have to work so hard anymore, huh? Indeed. Did he turn in his resignation to the Hinamizawa fighters? Oh, does that even exist? I never received one. Did you, Sonozaki-san? No, I didn't. So that means he still belongs to the team. I think he'll be back after things have settled down. But I know he'll be sad if he doesn't see you there. Irie teased me. He's a grown-up after all. He must have been trying to sound optimistic because he knew I was feeling a bit down. You can come back to the team anytime you want. Might as well be empty without you. I'm thinking of providing you with a maid costume once you come back. I burst into laughter. Irie sure hadn't changed. Oh, almost forgot. I can tell you my name now. Sorry, Coach. I was lying about my identity. I'm not Mion. I'm her twin sister, Shion. I've been pretending to be her for a few reasons. What? You're Mion-san's twin sister? He was totally taken aback. I burst into laughter again. Yes, I'm Shion Sonozaki. I'm forced to live quietly because my grandmother hates me, though. I never realized that Mion-san had a twin sister. Same here! Suddenly a loud voice interrupted us. The voice sounded mean and greasy, unlike Irie's. It was him, Oishi. Hello, Dr. Irie. Thank you for your cooperation last night. Don't mention it. I wasn't much help. They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Irie whispered to me. I'm leaving now. You want to get in the car? I can drive you home. Irie figured that Oishi was after me, so he was giving me a chance to slip away. Looking at Oshi's face, it was clear that his focus was on me and not Irie. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but that'd just be a waste of time. Alright. Coach, let's get going. Oh, you two going somewhere together? Yes, we were on our way to get some stuff for the team. We have to drop by a few places, so will you please excuse us? Irie bowed and I followed suit. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He's a grown-up after all. Oshi seemed to know it was a lie, but he didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us. I moved to get into Irie's car. How are your wounds, Shion Sonozaki-san? I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There was no way Oshi could have been able to see it. They'll heal no problems if you don't get infected. I tore my fingernails off a couple of times myself when I was a kid, but look, beautiful now, aren't they? Men's fingernails shouldn't look beautiful. That gives me the creeps. Oshi scratched his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of the best cops in Okinomiya PD, and he knows about all the underground activities in the region. He must have heard about my payment from somewhere. Still, that happened to be a secret basement of the Sonozaki main house. I couldn't underestimate this guy's sources. Thank you for your kind words. We'll be going now. Excuse us. Shon Sonozaki-san. Why don't we get coffee together sometime? What? Are you hitting on me? If you like. Sorry. Time flies. I can't waste any of that precious time on things that don't interest me. Ah, you got me there. How about this then? You can leave any time if you get bored of talking to me. I won't stop you. How does that sound? I don't mind you talking, but I won't talk back. I doubt you could call it a conversation. Yeah, that'd be fine. You can just listen. And I'll talk. You can just listen to an old man ramble while sipping on a cup of coffee. He was being strangely persistent. It didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical. Coach, I think I'll go with the old man instead. I mean Shion-san. I winked at him and told him not to worry. Irie didn't insist. He got in his car and drove off. Oshi backed his car up so we can get in. I hopped in the back seat since I didn't want to sit next to him. Are we really going to a cafe? If you could direct me to one with no connection to your family, that would be great. Why don't you just take me to the one at the station then? Oshi carefully checked for oncoming traffic and then started driving. Oshi took me to the police station, as I thought he might. If he had taken me to the nice cafe, he would have scored some points. Well, whatever. Thought it'd be more convenient if we came here. You can still go home if you get bored, though. Try your best not to bore me, then. Do you want me going to the station hand in hand with you? Oshi chuckled and got out of the car. He escorted me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office of the investigation division. Officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desks, answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said Section Manager, and nearby it there was couches and a table. Oshi told me to sit on the couch and started making some instant coffee. Never been to this part of the police station. I looked around curiously. Did you think I'd take you to an interrogation room? Oshi brought me over a tray with coffee cups on it. You're treating me better than I expected. I thought you'd whip me or something. My tastes don't run that way. So, I thought you wanted to talk? Alright, I'll cut to the chase. Are you in love with Satoshi Hojo-san? What? It's getting boring already. I'm going home. Okay, please, forget that. Oshi must have known why I'd had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really trying to say was that he already knew already. I already talked to Detective Kumagai about it, Satoshi-kun's alibi that day. Of course I read Kumaigi's-kun's report. I knew you were with him. I'll just repeat the same statement no matter how many times you ask. Don't think you can poke holes in it. No, that's not what I want. You're a smart person. I know that wouldn't work for you. I wonder what you're after. You're wasting your time if you want information on Satoshi-kun. There's nothing more to talk about. This is boring me after all. I'm gonna go home, since that was our agreement. Excuse me. I got up off the couch. Shion-san, I did want to get Satoshi-kun's alibi from you. I admit it. That's it then. It's boring. I'm going home. I turned around and started walking. Oshi didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder. But Shion-san, What I wanted to ask you about is his alibi for yesterday, not the day of the murder. His alibi for yesterday? Why? What does that have to do with his aunt's death? It's because Satoshi-kun's been missing since then. What? Didn't you know he went missing? I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oshi's question anyway. What's going on? Missing? What? Why don't you take a seat? What do you mean Satoshi-kun has gone missing? What the hell? We only know one thing for sure. He withdrew all of his savings at the ATM in the Yokonomiya post office before 3 p.m. yesterday. We don't know his whereabouts after that. I knew why he withdrew that money. He wanted to buy Satoko's birthday present. Yeah, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday. This is just my guess, but I think he skipped town with that money. You mean he used the money to run away? That's stupid. He was saving it to buy Satoko-chan a birthday present. He bought that big, expensive teddy bear from that toy store. He'd never use the money to just skip town. Yes, the most expensive teddy bear in that toy store was sold. But we can't confirm that it was Satoshi-kun who bought it. Why don't you just ask the clerk? Satoshi-kun and I reserved that teddy bear together. I had a bad feeling. That old man who was watching that store was sleeping when we were in there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on that day, and even though Satoshi-kun bought that teddy bear, he didn't remember. Oh, she put on a wry smile. It looked like he already tried to question that old man. Anyway, it's Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. He must have saved just enough to buy it, so he shouldn't have been able to run away after. That's nonsense. Alright, let's say he really did buy that teddy bear. Then why didn't he come home with it? At that point, I felt as though my heart had turned to ice. Satoshi-kun had been working hard to buy that teddy bear, even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After all that, he finally managed to buy it. It was unthinkable that someone else just showed up and bought the same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else. Even so, Satoshi-kun should have given it to Satoko. But though he bought a present for her, he didn't come home. He didn't come home? That wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying that teddy bear. Even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police, he'd never leave without giving Satoko her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. I can say that with a 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? The teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit in a basket of his bicycle. He might have bought some straps to tie it onto his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away with a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store and withdrawing the money. Nothing could have happened when he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody could have possibly bought that teddy bear. Never. The teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see it when they passed by, but nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no question that it went to the toy store, he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any questions there either. He shouldn't have been able to do anything with that huge toy. He should have, even though making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home, right after he bought that teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? But what did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down right after that and get arrested? That was definitely, absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to the conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he wouldn't have waited until he gave Satoko her birthday present. Shikun loves Satoko. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. So he'd never disappear before going home. I felt as though ice was cutting through my heart, expanding into frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will. Was Satoshi-kun eliminated? That's really stupid, old man. I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loudly enough. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing. And laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing, took a sip of the lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup. Shion-san, please listen to me without interrupting. What I'm about to tell you is only a hypothesis. It's all just a theory. You might start laughing in the middle because it may sound ridiculous, but I want you to hear me out. Can you do that? Whatever. Just talk. I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain had frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything but myself. I could only do as Oshi told me. What he was going to tell me might be the worst possible theory, but I had to listen to it. I know that Satoshi-kun and Satoko-san's aunt was abusing them. Especially Satoko-san. In my opinion, it's normal that Satoshi-kun started thinking about murdering his aunt, because he was just a human being. I had to deny that Satoshi-kun murdered her, but what Oshi was saying was true. I couldn't deny his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent. This is only a hypothesis, alright? Please don't be upset. And no interruptions. Agreed? I know. Just go on. Satoshi Hojo planned the murder of his aunt and executed it. We have no proof, okay? It's all just theoretical. Alright, I heard. Just keep talking. I'll switch the subject now. Shion-san, you were forbidden from having a relationship with Satoshi-kun, weren't you? They told you to stay away from him, right? I believe the reason behind this, not that your family hated the Hojos, but that they didn't like the fact that you were involved with a murder suspect. That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun, before anyone knew it was Shion who was spending time around him. It could have been accused that when they were helping out the Hinamizawa fighters that the relationship between the Hojos and Sonozakis was a problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt if it happened in Hinamizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like that I was in love with a murderer. They decided to step in. Also, you're known to not give up easily, aren't you? Which means, even if the Sonozaki family threatened you or ripped off your nails, you still wouldn't cut ties with Satoshi-kun, would you? I can't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties to Satoshi-kun are essentially cut, true. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Hinamizawa fighters eventually. I believe your family knew that a few threats would never be enough for you to break ties with Satoshi-kun. They could threaten you all they liked to no avail. So, their only option would be to do something about the other person, wouldn't it? What do you mean, do something? What would they do? What? What? If threatening me was useless, then they'd do something about Satoshi-kun. What would they have done? If they pulled something They wouldn't interrupt his path to the toy store at home. Toy store to home. Toy store to home. What is X? What is X? X marks the spot in the path where it was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? Why? What is X? X. I ran out of air, became dizzy, and then collapsed. The floor felt cold. I felt no pain. I had fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. Oishi and some others rushed over to me and helped me up. Calm down, Shion-san. We're not certain that Satoshi-kun has been killed yet. You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? Don't you know about that torture where they forced me to rip off my fingernails? Don't you know that they are prison cells and a well for disposing of the corpses in the back? If the Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody, they'll definitely kill them in that torture room and dump the body down there. And you're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in that Haig's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. If I would kill him, then the Haig would definitely kill him. Shion-san, please calm down. This is unconfirmed, but I have information that somebody witnessed a young man run away male at Nagoya Station. We took a train there to Tokyo. The clothes didn't match, but it's possible he changed when he was wearing the hide from the police. It's still possible that it was him. Is he alive? Is he? This is also a theory, but let me go on. Your twin sister, Mion-san, is the closest person to Oryu Sonozaki, correct? I'm assuming that Mion-san stopped Oryu when she suggested murdering Satoshi-kun furtively. Mion? That was possible. She couldn't have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was also so indecisive. She should have been clear on if she wanted to save him or not, but she probably seemed vague about it. She must have persuaded the Haig to reduce the punishment to banishment instead of death, just to avoid feeling guilty. I believe that the Sonozaki family contacted Satoshi-kun. They probably told him that they could cover up the murder, and they told him to disappear somewhere far away. They forced him to be more accurate. Satoshi-kun would have rejected that. He would have never left Satoko behind. I agree with you. Satoshi-kun was working at the places Mion-san referred him to, wasn't he? So, the family knew that they had enough money to get away. But he'd never use it for anything other than buying that teddy bear. You're right. He must have gone straight to the toy store after he withdrew the money. But what if the teddy bear was already sold when he got there? That would have been a very desolate situation. He'd been working so hard. While his aunt abused him, he worked at many different jobs. The money was worth all that pain. He went to the toy store with that money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he had always done, but it was gone. He wouldn't have gone to a panic right away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought the store was wrapping the gift for him because he told them that he'd pick it up that day. He must have gone into the store joyously. I couldn't guess exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I imagined it anyway. Why didn't they have it, even though he had reserved it? Did the old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same even if it was the old man who was at the store at that time. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them the money, nobody would have rejected it. Satoshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. He probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on the telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Satoko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. He probably didn't think of getting another gift, because it was unimaginable that he couldn't get that teddy bear. He might have imagined how Satoko would react if she found out there was no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Satoshi-kun never cried, even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? It was always Satoko who was crying. So Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did you know? People shed sadness from their hearts with tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't even allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with sorrow, he couldn't let it out. You insisted he wouldn't leave Satoko-san behind, didn't you? But think, what if the Sonozaki family had told him they'd look after her in his disappearance? After Satoshi-kun found out the teddy bear was gone, all he had left were some crumpled bills. The family had told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Satoko. Satoshi-kun didn't feel like seeing his sister. He wandered and found himself in Okamiya Station. He must have been apologizing to Satoko so many times in his head. He swore he'd come back someday. He headed to Nagoya, and then to Tokyo. But that meant he's alive. He's alive. I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again. I assume that the Sonozaki family set up some place for him to stay. Satoshi-kun must have gone there. So, he's safe? He's coming back someday, right? Oh, she looked up at the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer. June 24th, 1982. Satoshi Hojo went missing. There is a possibility that he ran away, as he was the prime suspect of a murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him is seen at the Nagoya station embarking on a train heading to Tokyo, but the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he's still alive. Hey! Train to nowhere. Your dear friend has gone missing. Oh! Ooh, yeah. Hi, Muffin. Sorry, it was a really intense chapter, so I was like really locking in. I don't think Shion's doing too well. Correct. A Higurashi theory. Hell yeah. That was something to join into, right? What a great chapter. Yeah, right? Bachi. Daijoubu. Thank you. Horror to Sag. Yep. And that's Higurashi. It's good shit. And I'm like really sure that it's in this book, but there is another really popular scene that Shion is involved in. I'm pretty sure it's this book. It might be a different one, but I'll let you know if we get there. Because that was chapter 7. We're halfway through. Let that sink in for a sec. This is the halfway point. Good shit. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna check and see. I had to make sure. Okay, tomorrow. We are streaming Project Diva. Yay! It's been so long. Let that sink in. I told that damn bathroom boss to stop bothering me. Welcome in sync. Oh my god, stop. Time for a time skip? I don't think a time skip. I don't think so. I don't think a time skip. But maybe. Like, I've never read the answer books. I mean, I didn't read the question books either before we all read it together. But, like, I'm very familiar with the anime. And in the anime, there's no time skip. At least not in this arc. But we'll see. Maybe they do it differently. Finally. Project Diva. Yeah. It's been a while since I played Project Diva, so it'll be fun to get back in there and see how bad I've gotten. You know, that rust will probably kill me, but you know, we'll see. Feels like forever? It has been. Technically, it has been forever, because I've never played it before. I was about to say technically. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it there because my voice hurts because that was like over an hour of me like trying to get into voice acting and do that shit. So, wrapping it up there. Thank you guys so much for coming, hanging out for book club, and reading this chapter with me. Thank you, thank you. As I said, tomorrow is streaming Project Diva. I hope I can see you there. But you know what? Oh yeah, I hope she doesn't take it down. Yeah. But if I don't see you in the next one, I will see you when I see you. Okay. Hope everyone has a good night. Oh, good evening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.